Well, soon you'll be able to tell your kids where you were when the US government officially collapsed under a steaming pile of stupidity. You'll be able to tell your kids about the worst president in American history intentionally leading his country off of a cliff. Now, we have a couple of big news stories to get to that have just unfolded over the past 24 hours. But first, just when you thought 2024 would be a year of peace and joy, these moron globalists are pushing us to the brink of World War III. Right now, I'm traveling through Germany where I'm watching thousands of farmers descending on Berlin, telling their globalist leaders, enough is enough, stop screwing with our way of life, telling the World Economic Forum, stop trying to destroy farms, stop trying to destroy our Western way of life. And this weekend, President Biden's team is currently drawing up plans for a massive war in the Middle East to attack Yemen and attack Iran, according to Politico. Could we be any more thinly spread at the moment? Why would they be doing this? All to protect the US dollar, of course, the reserve currency of the world. That is the answer. Something that is quickly fading on the world stage. And we now know that Putin and China are making their moves into the region as they recognize a very weak President Biden. Biden, who has utterly failed to stop Houthi rebels from attacking ships in the Red Sea, these losers in Washington and London have utterly failed. They can't stop Houthi rebels, pirates, are you kidding me? But they keep making threats. They keep telling them, you know what, we're going to take action against these pirates.
The UK Foreign Secretary, Lord Cameron, has in the last few minutes said that the Red Sea attacks need to stop or action will be taken. He has not specified what that action will be.
Sure, we're going to take action. These are the same idiots that told us Ukraine was winning the war. What we are seeing right now, of course, is a total breakdown of America's ability to provide security in the open oceans. We are watching a diminished U.S. Navy, and every country in the world is asking itself right now the very same question. How can we assure ourselves that we don't end up like what happened with Europe because of Russia and Ukraine? Look at the collapse of Germany right now. Seeing it all over the place. Businesses closing their doors. And I'm speaking to Germans who are saying they don't know what's going to happen with this energy crisis. These businesses cannot afford to operate. Guess what? Tens of thousands of farmers descending on Berlin. The U.S. umbrella right now, the United States umbrella of protection, isn't working anymore. So these countries are looking inward and elsewhere. And that's where China and Russia are stepping in, joining the BRICS nations. In fact, a new report out this week shows that the emergence of the BRICS currency in the BRICS nations in 2023 could be the singular most important economic event of the last 100 years. It's sunnier over on the BRICS side right now. The United States currency, of course, is backed by debt. It's backed by nothing. The BRICS currency, backed by precious metals, backed by commodities, backed by uranium, backed by gold, silver, oil, gas. These countries are asking right now, how can we protect our own shipping of minerals and materials in the Red Sea? The United States isn't protecting us. They've failed us. This week, we saw Maersk, the largest shipping company, extend its ban on shipping in the Red Sea because the U.S. can't protect them.
And the news that 1 in 5 commercial ships are now avoiding the Red Sea because of the threat of attack.
Container shipping giant Maersk announced on Friday that it is diverting all vessels from Red Sea routes around Africa's Cape of Good Hope for the foreseeable future.
Remember, the Bretton Woods Agreement is that you use our U.S. dollars and we will stop pirates and we will protect the open oceans. That was the agreement. That has collapsed. So now the West starts shooting itself in the foot by engaging in a fool's war in the Middle East, hoping to save face, starting a war that we cannot win.
This is a problem bigger than America. We don't have the military capacity to prevail in this conflict. Yes, we can drop bombs in a lot of places. We will lose everything in the Middle East, everything in the region, because there's not a military facility in that region that is missile proof. And Iran has a lot of missiles, and they will bring death and destruction down on the Americans like they haven't seen since the Second World War. And then what? Now we're in a regional conflict. Can we throw cruise missiles at Tehran? Yeah. But to what end? Because Tehran will destroy everything we have in the region. And then where are we? We don't have the ability to invade Iran. We can't do it. You could mobilize the entire American military capability today. We can't invade Iran. We don't have the ability. So to what end are we getting in this war? At the end of the day, the costs that will accrue by the United States taking on the entire region on behalf of Israel will far outweigh the consequences of just telling Israel no. But we can't tell Israel no because Israel owns us.
But that's not stopping the warmongers and neocons like Senator Lindsey Graham, who just went to Tel Aviv and acknowledged that we haven't been able to stop these Houthi rebel attacks. So we need to attack Iran. We need to blow it off the map.
I've been saying for 6 months now, hit Iran. They have oil fields out in the open. They have the Revolutionary Guard headquarters you can see from space. Blow it off the map.
He also said to Netanyahu, his favorite benefactor, that the United States is about to make Iran's worst nightmare a reality.
We're going to do everything we can on my end, and I think working with the Biden administration, Mr. Prime Minister, to push forward to make Iran's worst nightmare real.
Good luck with that. Did you sign up? Did you personally sign up to have America involved in a war over Iran and Israel? I sure as shit didn't. And guess what? Any idiot with half a brain, or anyone with a fifth grade education, knows that anytime America bombs a Middle East country, it only hurts the United States. Period. End of discussion. It's not in our strategic interest to do any of this. It only hurts America, which is exactly what Biden wants, by the way. All you need to do is look at our southern border to know that America is collapsing, and Biden doesn't seem to care at all.
Thousands of migrants intent on reaching the United States spent Christmas walking toward the U.S.-Mexico border.
The Pentagon this week admitted it's also out of money for Ukraine. Sorry, we have no more. Which is just a fancy way of saying Zelensky is old news. 600,000 Ukrainians are now dead, which is exactly what NATO wanted, to wipe away an entire generation of young Ukrainians. And the few Ukrainians that aren't dead are now buying $300 old man masks just to avoid the Ukrainian body snatchers. You know, the guys that come around and grab these guys off the street and throw them into the meat grinder and in the front lines against Russia. So Ukraine is done. NATO destroyed that country. Now the war is coming to Iran and Yemen. And now the U.S. this week threatening war in Yemen, wagging their finger, telling them, you better stop these attacks on the ships in the Red Sea. And the Houthi rebels basically just gave the U.S. a big middle finger, saying, sorry, we're not scared. If you keep supporting Israel by sending billions of dollars in aid and weapons to Israel, we will continue these attacks on these ships. The ball is in your court, Mr. Biden, telling us they are ready, folks. They are ready for war. This war is coming. So that's the news update part of today's video. Now I want to tell you about today's sponsor, which is tied directly to this global conflict over minerals and energy, and really the rise of this BRICS currency versus the demise of the US dollar. If you're even remotely bullish on uranium, as I am, then you need to pay attention to what I'm about to show you, because this company is called Atha Energy. Here is their ticker on your screen. Now, what I'm about to show you is not your typical Dow Jones or S&P 500 company. No. It's not a business that slowly grows and then perhaps doubles in 10 years. If that's what you're interested in, then you should invest in ETFs or index funds and call it a day. No, what I'm here to show you is the potential to see an appreciation of thousands of percent. Not every exploration company can claim that. And certainly, even if they can claim that, there are very few that actually have the goods to deliver on that claim. But the leadership and the management of this company that I'm showing you right now have already done it multiple times before. They have an amazing track record. They were involved in the formation and operation of companies that went up 23-fold. And now they've put together what I personally believe to be the most impressive and inherently brilliant uranium company in the whole uranium industry. So just give me the next 5 minutes, guys, and I'm going to show you what I believe is the best uranium play in the entire world and why I've been buying a lot of shares of this company and holding it for the long haul. I'm going to give you some nitty-gritty details on this because I've studied it pretty deeply. So just get ready here. Okay, here we go, guys. If you're in North America, 20% of American households rely on nuclear. 15% of that comes from Russia. There is no active mine for uranium in America, except for one negligible one that's not doing anything. We have no uranium in the United States. We import all of it to power our homes in the United States. So every country agrees right now that nuclear is the future. Solar and wind are not. Poland just announced it's building 20 new nuclear reactors. 20. Are you kidding me? And they are not alone, by the way. Dozens of Western countries moving to nuclear in a big, big way. So the reason this company is called Atha is because of the Athabasca Basin, where they own a ton of land, which if you've watched my show for any length of time, you know the Athabasca Basin is the highest grade uranium location in the world, hands down. It's the best. It's in Canada. It's not in Russia. It's not in Kazakhstan. It's not in Africa. And this company owns over 3.8 million acres in the Athabasca Basin. Their share price is so stinking cheap right now. Just look at this. That's because no one knows about this company. They haven't been featured on CNBC or Bloomberg. Take a look at their share price. I mean, it's so cheap. So you're learning about them really before anyone else is learning about them. So let me show you why I love this company and why I think it's in a fantastic position. First, some context here. So listen to how genius the owners of this company are. 10 years ago, right after the Fukushima nuclear disaster in Japan, no one wanted to talk about nuclear power. So what do these guys do? When everyone else was running away from nuclear, they ran towards it. And fortune favors the bold. They went to the best uranium basin in the world, and they staked as much land as they possibly could. Yes, over 3 million acres of it. And no one wanted this land. Really is an amazing thing. Everything in green that you see right here on your screen, they own 3.8 million acres. Their business model is really in 3 phases. The first one was they bought this massive land package with all of this uranium potential ready to be drilled and pulled out of the ground, but then Fukushima happened. So they've been sitting on it, waiting for the right moment. And that moment is right now. The world realizes how important uranium is, and the price of uranium has skyrocketed. Just look at uranium's price over the past few months. It's unbelievable. So that's phase 1. And now they've launched the ingenious phase 2, a master plan to expand this company exponentially. ATHA has now rolled out their prospect generating business. So that 3.8 million acres is a large amount of land for any one company to go and drill. So guess what? They get to farm out a lot of that land to other companies, keep the equity position on that land, and then also make a portion of the profits. So these other companies do the drilling, then ATHA gets to keep a huge amount of the equity and profits. And now phase 3, this is the most exciting part for me as an investor because they needed to acquire more mature uranium projects. So ATHA just bought 2 companies, 92 Energy and Latitude Uranium. Now this sale is likely to be finalized in March. And as a result of this acquisition, they were able to raise $23 million in cash. So now they have a combined total of $65 million in cash. That's huge news. No other uranium exploration company has that kind of cash. And that's great, but what exactly does cash enable you to do that no other company can do? Drill, baby, drill. That cash will let them drill like never before. And listen to this. By acquiring these 2 companies, they just got the Gemini project, which looks stunningly similar to 2 other uranium hotspots. They're going to be spending a lot of money to drill on the Gemini zone, the GMZ zone, in 2024. Look, I know I'm giving you a lot of information here, but this is important, especially if you're an investor. You need to know this stuff. Let me give you the best news of all for this company. As part of the acquisition of these 2 companies, they now own the Angliac deposit, which is now their crown jewel. And get this, ATHA's CEO, Troy, who I've been following very closely, has a very special skill set. He has a knack for taking an existing mine or deposit and then doubling or tripling the amount of uranium in that deposit. Basically, where other companies had given up, they thought they exhausted the mine, they thought the deposit was now empty of uranium. Troy then comes along and he finds stunning amounts of uranium where they didn't even look. He has done this repeatedly. And the Angliac mine is one of the highest grade uranium deposits in the world. So Troy, this CEO, believes that this area near the Thelon Basin is the next Athabasca Basin. Everything is pointing to a stunning discovery in the Thelon Basin. They might even need to change their company name from ATHA to Thelon. That's how much stake they're putting into this basin. And listen to this. In the past 45 days, Troy and his team have now staked 2.9 million acres in this basin, in the Thelon Basin. It's an area he believes is the next hotspot. Again, here is their stock ticker on your screen right now. And here's what their stock is trading at right now as of this recording. So if you wanted to pick up a few shares of this company, you need to use one of the bigger brokerages like E-Trade or TD Ameritrade. I personally use E-Trade. I've been using them for years to buy up a lot of my different mining stocks that I own. Guys, I've given you a lot of information here, but I think it's important. So you can go and do your own due diligence on this company as uranium continues to explode in demand. Study what's happening right now with Russia. And of course, the United States pulling back from importing anything uranium from Russia and other countries to try to become self-sufficient. That's why we're seeing this explosion in uranium prices, and the demand is off the charts. Guys, go do your own due diligence, and we'll see you next time.